The raging flames of the People's War soon spread to every part of the country. Now, liberated Angkor stands like a steel giant in front of the enemy. Though enemy troops are only 2 kilometers away from this liberated zone, the People's Armed Forces of National Liberation of Cambodia trains its young cadets here undisturbed. Angkor fights on in glory. Her young men and women foiled 2 enemy attempts to seize Angkor, repulsing their wanton attacks. They solemnly pledge, to defend Angkor is to defend our national honor and safeguard the sovereignty and dignity of the motherland. We will defend her like the apple of our eye. All enemies wherever they dare to intrude. The patriotic Cambodian army men and civilians shot down and destroyed over 1,700 enemy planes from March 18, 1970 to March 1975. Victory belongs to the heroic sons and daughters of Angkor and to the brave commanders and fighters in the field. Khieu Samphan, Deputy Prime Minister, Commander-in-Chief of the People's Armed Forces, and Chairman of the High Military Command, is studying the overall war situation. He and Sat Lut Sao and Nung Jie, both Vice Chairman of the High Military Command, work out a plan of operations, the blueprint for victory. Guided by a correct military line and using correct strategy and tactics, the People's Armed Forces are winning brilliant victories on all fronts. Men and women fighters of the people on all fronts are marching forward victoriously on this land of heroes. Each of the 7 major strategic highways has witnessed their heroic exploits. By the end of 1974, they had blocked all roads leading to Phnom Penh. Was fought here on highway number 6. It served as the graveyard for the Long Nol puppet troops who took part in Operation Jenla 2. In the rainy season of 1971, the enemy sent more than 20,000 so-called crack troops in an attempt to control this highway and block communications between various liberated zones. United as one, the valiant Cambodian army men and civilians took on this enemy several times their own numbers and waged a battle that lasted 100 days with their crude weapons, wiping out 15,000 enemy soldiers. This was a brilliant example of the weak defeating the strong. After this battle, the enemy did not have the strength to launch another nationwide strategic offensive, while the People's Armed Forces grew rapidly. Long Nol is indeed a good quartermaster. When weapons are needed, take them from the enemy. These fighters on the Phnom Penh front, like legendary heroes, never saw tanks or armored cars before. But after a short period of training, they charge into the enemy lines on these iron steeds and annihilate large numbers of enemy troops. These jeeps came also with the compliments of the quartermaster Long Nol. 14-year-old boy is not even up to the steering wheel, yet he learned to drive when he was only 13 and had transported ammunition to the front all by himself. He is busily driving on the raging southwest front. There are many heroic youngsters like him on the battlefields throughout Cambodia. All possible means of transport are put to use. Even elephants do their bit for the war effort. Kep is a famous sea resort in Cambodia. Except for a few isolated cities and islands, the entire Cambodian coastline is now in the hands of the people. Or 3 kilometers from here, there is an isolated island called Rabbit Island, where a small band of enemy troops are still entrenched. People's soldiers guard the coastline of the motherland day and night. Like this isolated island, all strongholds under the temporary control of the long-nosed puppet troops are already surrounded by the vast ocean of the people. Another battle is being waged here. A gigantic mass movement to build water conservancy projects unfolds vigorously in the rear areas of the liberated zone in Cambodia. All over the liberated zone, thousands of people are working on water conservancy projects. The commander of the Angkor Siem Reap front works shoulder to shoulder with the masses. People come to work on this construction site each day. Owing to the lack of water, rice was not grown as a rule in the dry season. But today's emancipated peasants say proudly, "In farming, rely on the people and not on heaven." They link the building of water conservancy projects and the growing of rice in the dry season with the destiny of their motherland and with the liberation war. They pointed out, water is needed to grow rice. Food is needed by soldiers in the fight. Where there are people, there will be water. Where there is water, there will be food grains. Water flows in abundance as the people have willed. Water brings joy to the peasants. After the baptism of fire in the 5 years liberation war, profound changes have taken place in Cambodia's rural areas. Under the leadership of the National United Front, and relying on the collective strength of the groups of solidarity for increasing production, the broad masses of Cambodian peasants fought bravely to transform nature and steadily increased grain production so that there's more than enough food to meet the needs of the liberated zone. This is a remarkable achievement won by a great people under difficult wartime conditions. The yearly increases in grain production have substantially augmented the ability of the liberated zone to support the war effort, improve the people's livelihood there, and further consolidated the liberated zone. The production of cash crops in the liberated zone has also been restored and developed in the course of the war. Bombs from USB-52s destroyed over 80% of this pepper plantation. But pepper is growing well on the soil of this heroic plantation, which exports 700 tons annually. People's rubber plantations present a scene of great prosperity. This is a world-famous rubber plantation in the eastern region composed of jute and 6 other branch plantations. Most of these branch rubber plantations once belonged to the colonialists. The workers say with indignation, "You have only to count the number of rubber tree leaves to know just how much money the bosses made." Today, the people are masters of the rubber plantations.